Mother Knows Death, starring Nicole and Jemmy and Maria QK.
Hi everyone, welcome to Mother Knows Death. On today's episode, we're going to talk about the death of Senator Lindsey Graham and all of the juicy conspiracy theories surrounding his death. Then we have an update on a story we've been talking about for the past couple of years involving a doctor who intentionally drove his car off a cliff with his wife and kids inside. If you remember, they all miraculously survived. But this case is back in the news this week because apparently his charges were dropped and his wife wants him back. So we need to talk about this. Then we'll have a couple incidents that happened on airplanes, Maria's favorite topic, and nursing home employees who are sharing pictures of patients' genitals. We'll finish up with your questions, comments, emails, all that and more on today's episode. Lindsey Graham, let's start with that.
All right, so over the weekend, Senator Lindsey Graham died suddenly hours after returning from a trip to Ukraine. He just turned 71 last Thursday. Everybody was saying it was shocking and sudden. I saw you were calling something out on social media. What was that?
Well, I was just getting annoyed because everybody was saying that he was murdered. And I'm like, he's a 71-year-old male who just traveled like a huge trip. Right. So that means he was on an airplane for multiple hours in a row. And all that we knew at the time was that he said he had chest pain and then he like dropped dead essentially. Right. And I always say that there's only a few things in the world that can make you drop dead like that. It's completely not out of the realm of possibility for a 71-year-old man to drop dead like that. It happens every single day, all the time. Anybody that's listening right now who is either a paramedic, EMS person, or who is working in the hospital can tell you that, right? So everybody saying that he was murdered, it just didn't make any sense to me. I personally, if I could have guessed, which I did, I would have said that he had a pulmonary embolism because he was just on that really long flight. And that's, when you're sitting down for a long period of time, if you have any kind of underlying cardiovascular thing, especially a clotting thing that would predispose you to that would be the most likely situation. But what actually happened to him was that he had a dissecting aortic aneurysm. So that is even more non-suspicious to me as far as like a foreign entity trying to kill him. I don't know how you could give that to somebody,
Well, I mean, think about everything. Like, you have proved time and time again that Diddy could not have possibly killed Kim Porter, and people just refuse to believe it.
Yeah, it's interesting. And, like, listen, that was another thing I was just thinking about. Like, if he was poisoned or whatever people are saying, I just want to say, like, well, with what? Because if you poison someone, it's not like how it is in the movies, in The Princess Bride, where the guy's like, ha, 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 and then he falls over and dies, It's like either you're sick for a while leading up to it, or it happens, fairly quickly after you take it, but it's not just like you're fine and then you're not kind of thing like that. But, I mean, there are, like, I would say cocaine, for example, is a drug that could make that happen. It wouldn't cause it to happen, but like, this is what I'm trying to say. The bottom line is that this guy had diseased blood vessels, right? He had arteriosclerosis. They said it on the autopsy. So when you think about your blood vessels, all of your arteries, but especially your aorta is your biggest artery, it's made of 3 layers, right? It has an inside layer and then a muscle layer and then an outside layer. So the inside layer, when it gets damaged, right? When it gets arteriosclerosis is when it gets hardened because of high blood pressure, cholesterol, things like that. Just being older. He's 71. He's older. Like, even though we know a lot of 71-year-old people that are young and he was young seeming, but
his
been in a
high stress job for decades.
Yeah. So when you have that damage to your blood vessel, when I've seen such severe cases of it, when I do an autopsy, that it's literally like crunchy. It looks like little flakes of cornflakes on the inside of the aorta. It's that crunchy. Like, you sometimes have a difficult time cutting it with a blade or with scissors. It's that crunchy. And that damage causes a tear on that inner layer where the blood is going against, right? And then the blood could go inside that tear and it basically dissect up in between the inside layer and the middle layer, causing like a new lumen where that blood is not going through to the rest of your body. It's going inside of this new lumen that it has created, right? And that's called a dissecting aneurysm. So when you have your aorta is huge. It comes off of your heart and then it loops up and then it goes down all the way down your backbone. It goes throughout your whole entire body. So the closer that happens to the heart, the worse prognosis you have. So I know that a lot of people were saying, you know, because it was a little bit of an unusual situation, because apparently he called someone that was like a staff member of someone and said that he was having this problem, instead of just calling 911, which I thought was weird if he thought he was really having a problem that bad. But that person then called 911. Paramedics show up to the house and it's locked, so they had to break into the house. So it took them like 25 minutes to get in.
Yeah, I saw it was 25 minutes before CPR started, which I was like, that is a really long time. I mean, maybe it seems stupid when you're in an actual emergency, but maybe it was to try to avoid some type of PR crisis or something.
Possibly. But regardless, like, it doesn't matter. Like, none of that matters. You could have a dissecting aortic aneurysm at the hospital in front of a surgeon and still die from it. It's a very, especially depending on the location, it's a very deadly condition. I used to work with a guy who had one who actually survived it, but it's not unusual for people to die from that. Actually, John Ritter died from that when he was 53 years old.
So is this something like he knew he had, or he might have just had other heart problems and this was evolving over time? Or
yeah, like the thing is that he I doubt that he knew he had it. He probably didn't know he had it. He could have known that he might have had like some disease in his coronary arteries, for example, because you usually don't get disease in just one artery. It affects all of them throughout your body. So when you do an autopsy, if you see it in someone's coronary arteries, you're going to see it in their carotid arteries and in their aorta. Like, it's a whole picture. And it's possible that he might have known that he had some kind of problem, but like, it's not. It doesn't mean that he wasn't going to the doctor and getting it treated. It's just like, it's just a freak thing. Like, that many people don't have this condition happen and die from it. So CPR wasn't going to help him. Like, he was just going to die like that. And I don't really see any poison in the world or whatever people are saying, that I just can't think of any scenario that someone could intentionally cause someone to die from that, because this is something you see grossly at autopsy. It's not mistaken for anything else. It's like saying to me, like, I'm going to give you cancer, like, or some, you know, like, which I guess in theory, I mean, you could if you expose someone
to give somebody.
Yeah, like it's just like it's just like a weird thing. I'm going to give you kidney disease. Like, you can't give that to somebody. It's just, it's not possible. The only, like I said, the only drug that could exacerbate that, so if he had it, because what causes it to happen, to push you over the edge, to make it finally go through and potentially burst, is when your blood pressure's high. So yeah, it could have been just from the flight and traveling. I mean, I imagine traveling to Ukraine is a high stress situation between, I know they don't go on like regular airplanes probably, right? But just traveling in general can raise people's blood pressure, and just going up and the altitude and everything like that. Like, that could have aggravated the condition.
I think that, yeah, like, I guess he flies on a special government plane and everything, but like, you just have to think it's still an airplane and it's still the same type of thing. And then there's like, you know, it's kind of like an active war zone over there, so that's stressful. He has a high-powered government job, which is also stressful, that he's worked in for decades. I think when it comes to like the conspiracies,
and I mean, like, listen, a lot of people want to kill the dude, so I understand. I understand why the conspiracies are happening. It's like, it's just funny because when you're like online, it's people are saying it's Russia. It's literally, it's Russia, it's Ukraine, it's Iran, and it's Israel. Like, it's every single person wants to kill him. So, and I believe that they are doing the autopsy's still pending because he just died, so they're still doing toxicology, and like maybe they will come up with something, but like the fact is that that's not what killed him. He died from this dissecting aneurysm.
Unless the medical examiner report was falsified. No, I think what
they're just putting it out there to keep everybody quiet and not going nuts for a couple days. They just don't do that. Like I understand like where people think that, but I don't know.
I think in general with somebody that's like a celebrity or fully immersed in pop culture, a politician, whatever, that there's always going to be conspiracy theories. I mean, I will forever cite this. Like Bob Saget died in a pretty straightforward way, and people still to this day are refusing to believe that he just slipped and fell and hit his head. Like it's not that complex. And you have this guy that's like pretty hated by a lot of people, right? So like everybody wants to just think so much into it. Something I noticed about everything going on with Charlie Kirk in court too. I don't know if you've noticed this, or maybe it's something I'm missing and my postpartum brain's all over the place, but I feel like when there's other cases being covered in the news, they'll just say like the person's name, like Brian Koberger on the stand, blah, 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 blah. But I've noticed in this case with Charlie Kirk, it says suspected Charlie Kirk killer. Everything says alleged, suspected. It doesn't just say the kid's name. Which, I don't know if we see that all the time, or I've just been noticing it more than ever, because as we know, there's 1,000 conspiracy theories behind that case.
Yeah, and just for those of you who aren't in the gross room and listen to our YouTube live every week, we get heavily into some of these things. Yeah, I mean, that's like a whole, I mean, we could do a whole episode on that. Because I think that in general, like news organizations or just anyone in general, even us, like low level people, you're supposed, if somebody isn't convicted in a court of law, you're supposed to say alleged murder.
No, you are supposed to say that, but maybe this is how it's reported and the headlines are all the time, but I've just noticed it more in this case because there's so many conspiracies that this kid actually did not kill him. But I just feel like they will usually use the killer's name. Like Ted Bundy did that. Well, Ted Bundy was convicted, but you know what I'm trying to say? Like Brian Koberger, before he made the plea deal and pleaded guilty, like they were just saying Brian Koberger. Like everybody knows this kid's name. And I notice every single article says alleged killer, suspected killer. Like I just think it's a really interesting.
Do you know why people are doing that? This is my opinion, because I think that like if you believe the government at face value that all of the information that they presented in court this week, you would say, okay, he definitely, like Tyler Robinson definitely did it, right? But everyone in the world, I don't care who you are, has a little bit of doubt in the government now. A little to a lot. I'm more on the a lot.
I would say more than ever right now.
Okay. Like every single person has some percentage of it. And I think that regardless of how crazy some of these conspiracy theories are, you can't ignore some of the stuff that it is just a little weird and unusual. And I think that people just leave that little bit of a hair. So if it does turn out to be the other way, that they won't look like they were totally wrong or reporting the wrong thing.
Well, let's also not forget who his attorney is, which is the same woman that represented Corey Richins, who did not call any witnesses for the defense and just rested immediately when the state was done presenting their case. So if that's how she's going to go about doing trials, I don't know what's going to happen with this case.
I'm really interested in that particular case because it just, there are just some things that, like, that I was actually talking to Lauren Conlon about this because sometimes I'll text with her and I'm just kind of like, there's a lot of different parts of the case that I'm kind of like, I don't know, that's weird. But the biggest thing to me is like the text message thing. Like, I just can't get over it. And it's not like the weird conversation that they were having with each other that doesn't sound like kids talking to each other, because me and Gabe we talk to each other like kind of weird. So like if you read our text
Ricky too.
Yeah, like I feel like yeah, so do we. Like you say like me and Gabe talk in like,
you talk in like Zodiac Killer ciphers.
We do. We have like ciphers and like,
guys, I'll just find notes around their house that are just like a bunch of letters and you're like, I know what that says.
I do,
because so weird.
well, because we have our own language. But aside from that, though, like we read the Frankenstein book like along on one of our road trips, right? And it's just like, it's funny, like the way that they talk, and especially when they're describing the monster, like, you did this to me and you are, like just this dramatic thing. And sometimes like we talk to each other, and I'll just like, every time I text him, I'm like, dinner's ready, my love. And he goes, okay, my love, I'll be right there. Like we literally talk like that to each other. It's not that part of it. It's the part of it that's just like the confessional that hits every single point of evidence that they have. It's just weird. Like if you're talking to someone and saying like, I did this crime, you wouldn't be like, and I was waiting on the roof and there was a police officer there and I just waited and I put the gun down on the ground. And like it's spelled
like
out
step
so
by step.
it's
Exactly
step by
what
step
happened.
exactly what happened, and it just matches up with all of the evidence they have. And I just think it's so bizarre. And like any person that's ever investigated any case would be like, this is weird. It's all weird. And the wife too is fucking weird. I'm sorry. Like I feel bad for the situation, but like,
no, she's acting very weird for a widow.
And listen, like it's one of the biggest things, and this is so silly. You guys are going to think that this is ridiculous that I even like pick up on this, but she like, within the first couple of days of going on air, I'm going to say this, like whenever I've gone to a funeral, like we went to a firefighter's funeral for one of our firemen recently, like I'm not going and wearing makeup because, or at least mascara and like my normal blush, because I know when I cry, it wipes all off and I look like a clown, like literally, right? When you go to a funeral, you don't wear that much makeup because of that. I think any woman in the world knows that, right? Why is she going on the news and this and that she's got like evening wear, like wedding, smoky eye, crazy makeup on, crying with a little tear with the tissue. It's like it's so, I'm like, why the fuck are you wearing so much eye makeup right now if you're going to be crying every 5 minutes? Which I understand you would be crying every 5 minutes if your husband just got murdered. Like, the whole thing of it is just with the rings and this and that. Like, I'm just kind of like, why is your mind even like there to get your makeup done and shit before you go on TV? Like, it's weird to me.
I don't know. Like, I do think it's weird, but then again, it's like she's constantly on television and everything, and you have to think of the criticism that comes along with that. So, like, I think people just get in that mode of, like, but then never mind, because I'm going to contradict my own point by being like, well, Savannah Guthrie is on the news, the most major news channel every single morning, and she wasn't even wearing makeup in certain videos talking about her mother who's missing, right? So if you want to put them along the same lines, because when you like, just think about if you've cried heavily with makeup on, like it looks ridiculous. Well, maybe
it's just like, I don't.
Well, maybe,
and it's like this weird, like, it's this weird, like, pulling out this tissue and just like touching the edge a little bit. And I'm like, nah, dude, if you were crying like hardcore, that shit would be running down your face. It's not like you have a good makeup artist. Like, you have black coal around your eyes. And it's just, I don't know.
Maybe that was intentional, because then if she does lose it, it looks better for her if her makeup's all distraught, because it's like, oh, look at her, like she's in distress. I don't know. Like, I don't follow many political things, so like I don't really know what's going on, but I have seen many people, supporters and not supporters, being like, her behavior is really weird for somebody whose husband just got assassinated, like, on video, and there's like, it's going viral all over the internet.
I mean, like, I don't know. I just think like the whole thing of it is just so weird, so it's hard for me to be. And maybe this happened when JFK got shot too. I don't freaking know. Like, maybe everybody was just like, she sucks. She's not acting right. This, that, or the other. I mean, she did jump on the back of the car and grab pieces of his brain. I would say that most people would say that that's not acting right. When you have some kind of trauma like that, who knows how you're going to act and stuff. It's just like, I don't know. I just think that you're getting so much criticism, like, just go away. You have money, just like go away, and like the criticism will stop. It's just like you're inviting this drama on yourself. Exactly. Like, and maybe it's just like this this need for just like, I need attention right now because this is so horrific and I can't get through this by myself, maybe. I don't know. But all right. Anyway, let's get back to Lindsey Graham because there's something juicy that happened with this. So number one, speaking of, I didn't even plan on talking about this for all this time on this episode, but there's all this stuff going on with another senator, Mitch McConnell. Do you know about that?
Well,
That, like, the
I don't
picture
know
and all
much
that shit?
about it. I just know that people think he's dead, and then they like posted this proof of life photo, basically from the hospital, and people are still not believing it.
Because it's AI. It looks like AI. It's so crazy. Anyway, so there's all that, and then so there's this transgender author and like she's an influencer person, Jessie James Rose, posted this right after Senator Lindsey Graham died, saying that now this is just like not confirmed, but this person is saying that this happened, right? Because like, and a lot of people are like, oh, I guess he's dead, like an NDA might have expired or whatever. But this is what she posted on I don't know if it was on X or on her Instagram or whatever, but it said, quote, just woke up to find out that Lindsey Graham is dead. LOL. Most of you know him as a homophobic senator from South Carolina, but to me, he will always be the man who paid a Twinkie pre-transition college student, and then it's like the emoji raising their hand, a fat stack of cash to do unspeakable things to him in a hotel room while he wore red lingerie.
I mean,
wow.
Listen, that's obviously like being alleged and everything, but I will say, in my opinion, I find that most of the
course.
time these people that are like staunchly against certain things are the ones doing it in private. So it's like, that's just my opinion. I'm not saying anything was going on behind the scenes, but it's happened in the past. So
it's just like, you know what I just enjoy about it? Like if you think about like watching C-SPAN or something, it's like a total snooze fest. It's like throughout history, it's just been the most boring shit ever unless you're super into it. And I'm like, no, it's all like super entertaining between that and the fake Mitch McConnell thing. And I think the Mitch McConnell thing's even weirder because people have gotten the records from when the first responders went to his house, and it said that the person was in cardiac arrest and got CPR. And this dude's just like, nah, I just don't feel good. I'm fine. Like,
why would
I don't have any.
If he did die or he wasn't doing well, why wouldn't they just say it? Like, who cares?
I don't know, because it probably has something to do with like if his spot gets lost. I don't freaking know. I don't follow that shit. I just think
He's
it's
like
interesting.
1,000 years old. Why are these people still working
like
in these
we're
jobs
just like
anyway?
I think he's in his 80s at least, if not high 80s, and you're just like, that would not. Nobody would judge you if you had a heart attack. Like, it's okay. You could say you had a heart attack. The whole thing of it is just, it's so posed. Like they have him holding a newspaper that's supposed to look like it's like this week's newspaper as like the proof that he's alive. And you're just like, yeah, that shit flew like 20 years ago, bro. Like, and all these people are posting pictures of themselves holding the same exact newspaper.
Well,
like, just like,
I saw
duh.
Jimmy Kimmel put his face on top of it.
Everybody is. It's amazing. Like, it's great. All right, let's move on because we could talk about this for hours. So, this doctor, I just like can't stop talking about this story. We should do a high profile dissection on this because nobody actually died, but it's a pretty crazy story how it started and how it ended.
No, it is. So we reported on this case before. So this doctor drove his family off a cliff and their Tesla, and if you guys remember, the car data was actually able to prove that he did it intentionally, even though he said it was an accident, because they dropped off this 300-foot cliff and then they ended up surviving, which is like miraculous in and of itself. But when they did the investigation, if you guys remember, the Tesla data said that he intentionally drove the car off of the cliff. So
and the wife said, when the first responder showed up, the wife was like, he said he was going to drive off the cliff and kill us. Like,
yeah. So in the car was him, his wife, and his two kids who were 4 and 7 years old. So at the time, he was facing 3 counts of attempted murder. But last Monday, the judge dismissed the charges after receiving reports from his doctor indicating he was doing well in a mental health diversion program. And now his wife has decided she's going to try to make their marriage work.
All right, so let's talk about that for a second. So, prosecutors said that he did this because he was depressed.
Wait, it's not just depressed. They said doctors testified he was experiencing hallucinations, hearing footsteps, and believed his children had been sex trafficked, allegedly provoked by the nation's fentanyl crisis, the war in the Ukraine, and his fears his children could be kidnapped and molested, connected to his worries about Jeffrey Epstein, who had been dead for 3 years when this occurred.
Okay, so he's just like, listen, like, I actually believe that this is possible because I think a lot of people are having these mental health crises, like,
for sure,
over stuff that has nothing to do with them.
For
like
sure.
a lot of people. So it like, and it's like it's hitting all of the major things. It sounds like he was on social media like all day, falling into like loopholes of just like rabbit holes, I want to say, like thinking that the world was going to end. Like, I believe that for sure. I guess the weird thing is that the judge allowed this guy to go into something called, it's California's mental health diversion program, where he spent 2 years in treatment from a Stanford psychiatrist and a family therapist and lived under supervision with his parents. So he was never in jail, and he complied with what he was supposed to do. And under the law, the judge had to drop all of the charges.
Okay, like, I have problems with this for many reasons, because so now that the charges are dropped, he can't get tried or whatever for this anymore. Like, it's done. So he's clear of this, right? So, like, if he gets out of this mental health program and he doesn't have to be in a facility or whatever, like, he's just gonna move back in with his wife and they're gonna just start playing happy family again. And then it's like, oh, remember that dad tried to kill us all and drive off the cliff? Like, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, if he had this problem and he's not gonna remain in treatment or medicated throughout his whole life, what's to stop him from doing something like this again? What's to stop other people that are having these fears from doing something and using it as an excuse?
Well, I mean, you could go on and say that a lot of people who do this are in this situation where they're having some kind of severe mental distress. I mean, there's murder suicides a lot of the times. Like, obviously, a lot of times it's because of just domestic fighting between couples and things like that. But sometimes you see it with the kids and everything else, that people are like, it's over money or it's over this or that. I don't know. Like, I could argue it both ways, because in one sense, it's like, clearly this guy doesn't seem like the type of man that needs to be like in prison because he's a threat to society necessarily.
But are you sure about that? Because, like, he wasn't making a rational decision and tried to kill his whole family. So what's to stop him in a couple years if he's unmedicated from going out in public and trying to kill people out in public?
I mean, I guess he's a higher risk, but he doesn't seem like he's like a menace to society, like you would think of a person that needs to be in jail, right? But I mean, I just feel like you could really argue this with any kind of case of somebody, and we talked about this when we interviewed that Dr. Leslie what's her last name? Dobson. When we interviewed her about, like, I just was trying to ask, like, is there a such thing as a person that's just evil versus a person with a mental health thing? And she seems to think that there's a difference. But wouldn't you even say, like, someone like Brian Koberger, for example, who just went and slaughtered 4 people for absolutely no reason with no apparent even ties to these people, like, wouldn't you say that was an underlying mental health something too? Like, maybe he doesn't fall into a DSM category of something, but like, clearly something's off with him.
Well, this is what I'm getting at. Like, I'm stressed by the war overseas, but like, if I kill somebody, I can just be like, well, I was stressed about the war overseas. Or like, I'm worried my kid's gonna get kidnapped in the back of my head, so if I do something irrational, I can just be like, well, I was scared my beautiful little baby boy was gonna get kidnapped. Like, anybody is gonna use this as an excuse, and I don't like it. There needs to be some more regulation over this.
It's like social media induced psychosis. It's just interesting because it's not one thing. It's like multiple different things that I feel like if you talk to most people, they would say, you know, they would be more stressed out about one thing versus the other. But I feel like if you interview any single person living in the country right now, there's something that they're stressed out about, whether it's like wars or COVID stuff or money stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
Everybody
just
has
think
something to be stressed out about in their life. It doesn't mean you could just go do irrational things. Obviously, he's dealing with a severe mental health situation. I just, like, I don't know how to feel about it, too. Because I'm saying, like, I agree with you. You could argue it both ways. Like, I don't know what I would do if this was my husband, who I'm madly in love with, and this happened, and he was dealing with a severe mental health crisis. But at the same time, is it responsible of her to leave her kids in his care or leave her kids alone with him? Like, when he literally tried to kill all of them?
Yeah, I mean, because like I always say that mental health isn't treated, it's never really treated the same as other health issues. And even in the healthcare industry, like you could just go and get treatment for pancreas cancer and usually not have that much money to pay. It's covered by most insurances, at least when I say not that much money, like under thousands of dollars, whatever. But like mental health stuff, sometimes it doesn't get covered at all. And it's like if you want to go every single week and get therapy, which you should, if you're really having a serious issue, you should be getting therapy and seeing psychiatrists, psychologists that are professionals instead of just getting medicine from your family doctor, right? So if you were doing the right thing and going to that, like sometimes that stuff isn't even covered. It's cash. You can't find anybody. It's hard to get an appointment, things like that. And that's a really unfortunate situation. And maybe they were able to prove that he was trying to get help and he couldn't get help, because really we could say the same exact thing about this Lindsay Clancy woman who killed her 3 children because of the prescription medications she was on, or that's at least what her defense team is fighting for her. And the prosecution is saying like, no, you cold-bloodedly like killed your 3 children, right? And I'm kind of on the side of her in that case. Like I 100% believe she was having postpartum depression, psychosis, and then on top of that, they gave her a crazy cocktail of medications. So like I don't really know that about this case, that he wasn't getting the same kind of treatment and the same thing happened.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we're missing that piece of information, because something we did talk about on YouTube recently was that her team is claiming she took all these steps to get help, and they had proof that she was going all these extra steps to try to get help and was being blown off. So, like, that's why you could have a little bit of leniency in that case. I guess maybe if we see that in this case, I'll feel a different way about it. I just feel like, okay, this guy just not even, like, 3 years ago just tried to kill his whole family, and now he's just going to go back to living, like, cute suburban family life. Like, that didn't just happen. I just think it's crazy.
It's the same exact thing, though, with Lindsay Clancy. Like, it's like, I believe that her husband is supporting her.
He is.
Even though she killed his 3 children, right? And it's like when you see the person that you love that they're out of that, and listen, like this wife, this wasn't like a surprise kind of. I'm sure that it's not like he was perfectly normal and then drove off a cliff. Like I'm sure she's been dealing with shit with this guy for years, whatever it is. Like it wasn't like a sudden, oh my God, he was totally fine, this is shocking. Like you live with a person and you get to know that how they are and stuff like that. But I mean, I don't know. Like her kids were so little. She says that the kids want him home too. They were 4 and 7. They don't even know what happened. They might be like, oh, that time we got in an accident. Like, do you think she was like, your dad intentionally tried to kill us? No.
I don't know, because modern parenting, they're
listen,
being transparent.
The best part of it is like they're going to become 10 years old and have access to Google, and then they're going to get some hard truths real fast.
Well, exactly. I don't know. Like, it is one of those you just don't know how to feel. I do kind of think it's insane that they're just going to go back to living normal life. Like, what if he stops taking his meds and then does it all over again, or actually kills one of them? I don't know, because that's a problem you could argue about any person dealing with a mental health crisis. Like, look at the Nick Reiner case. They had been dealing with that for years, and he had been in and out of facilities and everything, and it still didn't help. So what do you do, I guess, is what I'm asking. It's
I
hard
don't
to
know.
say.
But I do understand, like, if you could treat cases like this on an individual basis, I don't really see the point of like him being in the prison system either,
I don't think he needs to be in jail.
I feel like the
to be in a
prison system
facility.
needs to be for people who are like borderline animals that can't be in society because, you know, these people that have been arrested 50 times and like you're just kind of like, dude, you're not fitting in here, like you can't be here, that kind of a thing.
I don't think he needs to be in prison. I just think, I mean, I guess they're saying he lived in a facility for like 2.5 years to get treatment, but is that long enough is the question.
Well, he's not allowed to practice medicine anymore.
Well, thank God, because like,
which is,
do you want a radiologist that tried to kill his
is that
whole
what
family?
he was?
Yeah.
I mean,
was it exposure?
Listen, like I literally think that he would be completely competent to do his job, whatever. I don't care if he was good. I wouldn't give a shit. But
it's a question of, do you want a doctor that has that history?
A radiologist? You don't even see the radiologist. They're in a room reading your films.
But they're not.
That's
in
probably
their
why
right
he
mind,
went
so
nuts.
What if they're misdiagnosing you?
He went nuts because he sits in a little room all day and looks at pictures. That's probably what happened. But I don't know. Like, they gave him his passport back. Like he's like
he could travel again.
Well,
maybe he could go on a family
maybe
vacation.
He'll come on our show.
I don't want to interview somebody like this.
I
quite
do.
Frankly.
All right.
Okay, a passenger on a Ryanair flight from Greece to Germany was partially sucked out of the plane window because it broke soon after takeoff. I don't think I need to say what kind of aircraft this is. If you've been a listener of this show for a while, I think you could assume what it was.
It's so funny because as soon as I saw the news report, I don't even care about the details. I scroll through the article to be like, Jesus Christ, you're giving Maria more ammunition here. What kind of airplane was this? Oh, shocker. It was a Boeing. Aren't there only like 2 airplanes though? Like Airbuses and Boeings? Are there any?
I mean, they're the 2 major companies, but there are more companies.
Well, then it's like a 50-50 chance.
I'm just saying Airbus has had less problems. Not that they've had no problems. They've had horrific issues in the past. I'm just saying you don't see them in the news as often for having issues like this.
Are there as many of them in rotation as Boeings?
I believe so. I mean, you can get one just as easily as a Boeing when you're booking a flight. Anyway, if you guys recall, in 2018 Southwest Flight 1380, a woman actually died named Jennifer Reardon in a similar situation. So that was also a Boeing 737 where the engine failed and then the metal covering of the engine.
Wait, it was the same plane?
Well, I don't know if it was the same exact like
the model,
like
the same model,
same exact aircraft, but yeah, it was the same model, Boeing 737.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Oh, yeah.
Well, is it possible that that's an issue?
Well, this is what I'm getting at. So it was an issue where the engine failed and then the metal covering over the engine like peeled off and the shrapnel flew into the window, which broke it and literally sucked this woman. Like, she didn't fully come out of the window, but enough that it killed her. And if you remember, we did a dissection on this case, and you could see like blood on the side of the plane and stuff.
Yeah, we have a high-profile dissection on this with some pictures. It actually happened in Philly, so that's where her autopsy was done. She had blunt trauma all over her body, her torso, arms, and legs. She was belted in, I believe. So that's like, I mean, imagine like your body being. He was too, but they were able to pull him back in right away. Yeah, and maybe it was different depending on like how high up they were as far as the pressure changes in the cabin or something.
Yeah, so in this case, similar, a window had broken by a piece of debris that detached from one of the plane's engines. A 61-year-old man was with the seatbelt on. They said he was sucked out partially to his neck and shoulder. That's where he got injuries, and he had friction burns, but nothing worse, luckily.
Dude, like, I can't. Do you ever look at an airplane window? Because ever since that one happened with the Southwest flight, I always look at the window and I'm like, I don't even think that my hips would make it through the clearance of this window.
So some airlines facing a lawsuit right now, I don't remember off the top of my head, but because they're selling window seats at an upcharge price, and then I guess they reconfigured the rows. So when you're actually in the seat that you paid more money to sit in the window seat, there's actually no window in the aisle. It's like
Oh,
in
that's
between.
happened to me before. Yeah, like it's like halfway in the back and halfway in the front.
But
like,
wouldn't you feel differently about it now? No,
I'd actually prefer that one because you have a little bit of window, but not enough to get sucked out of.
Exactly. I mean, how does this happen? And if this has happened now 2 times with Boeing 737s, they need to do an investigation as to why this is happening. I mean, debris should not just be like flying off of the engines mid-flight.
But they'll say, and I don't even know if this is like a stat that you could look up, how many 737s have taken flights. It's in the millions, I'm sure.
Oh, for sure.
And then they'll say, okay, we've had 2 times it happen. It's like it's a non-issue.
Yeah, but it's 2 times on top of, you know, that door flying off that Alaskan Airlines flight and all these other problems.
That was a scary one.
What was that? Like last spring, I guess, spring of 25, we just had a Boeing story every single week.
I just like if anything like that happened to me, I would just be like, I'm never going on a plane again. That would be the end of it.
Well, Ricky was on a flight one time going to Texas, and there was a fire underneath in the cargo because somebody's like vape caught on fire in the luggage, and they had to make an emergency landing. And he was like, I couldn't fly for years after that. It scared me so bad.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like, yeah, everybody said they heard a loud bang, and then they thought the emergency exit door opened, which there's been a lot of stories about passengers trying to open those lately, like going crazy and trying to open those. So I think everybody thought that's what happened, and then they realized, oh no, just one of the passengers is partially sucked out of the window. I don't understand it. All right. 3 nursing home employees have been sentenced to jail time after Snapchatting photos of their patients' genitals and videos of themselves posing with and mocking dead patients. So one of these women was already sentenced and serving a 12-year sentence, and now the other 2 have been sentenced to 10 years in prison after pleading guilty to charges of conspiracy and elder abuse.
It's just so disturbing I keep reading over this case, and I'm just like, I don't even understand what the point of this was. Apparently, this other person was working with these 2 and noticed on Snapchat that the woman was taking pictures of someone's pubic hair, like an elderly person's pubic hair, and like twisting it and writing comments like, oh, I'm trying to make a mohawk.
Yeah.
What? So then that person saw the Snapchat and reported it to police, which is awesome. Why?
I don't know. And then it says a search of the women's phones produced more videos, including videos of patients going to the bathroom or images of their genitals or breasts. One of them was even seen laying next to a dead patient, mocking the woman's facial expression.
I don't understand.
I was thinking about this and getting really upset because I'm like, you know, a lot of older people that are in nursing homes like don't want to be there, and they're probably really depressed, and it's isolating, especially if you have family that doesn't come visit you. And then you have and you're like, some people are totally incapacitated, and you're totally reliant on the staff working there to take care of you. And then to think that you're conscious of what's going on, and these idiots are just like making fun of you or violating your privacy like that, it's disgusting.
It's just weird. Like I don't. And I always say this too, like it would be very weird that woman was taking these pictures and posting them on Snapchat, but the fact that there's another person that's involved with this as well, it's just like, you know, I've worked in a hospital situation. It's just like, how do you meet a friend at work that you're both like, oh, let's do this really terrible thing together?
Not even both, like 3 people were involved in this.
And also, are they just dumb? Like, why would you post that on social media? Like, you think that you wouldn't get caught? Like, it's just bizarre.
I don't know what's going on. Like, I was talking to Mom about this yesterday because, you know, her algorithm, as she says, her algorithm thinks she's pregnant because she's been looking up so much baby stuff.
Oh my
but we were
God.
just talking about like all these parenting videos you get and all this shit you're supposed to do for your babies, and I'm like, they're trying to argue today that you should do all this stuff to stimulate your baby's brain, like have these like tummy time toys and read them books and do all this shit, right? But I would argue that all these children, since these rules have come out, are dumber than ever and less functional in society. They don't think for themselves. So why am I going to put in all that effort if that's going to happen anyway? I'm just kidding. But I just think it's like ridiculous.
There's a book. It might be called the comfort crisis. It's like, if that's what it is, it's like really good explaining kind of that situation.
What, how coddling your kids is totally ruining them for society?
Yeah.
I don't know. I like a couple of people when I was pregnant were like, "Are you reading baby books to him in the womb?" And I'm like, "No, we listen to true crime books because I want my baby to be a genius." No, just kidding. But
Well, I think that there's studies that show that's helpful, but
who are these children that it's helping? Because I'm thinking of these kids that are teenagers that in their 20s when these rules started coming into play, and I don't particularly think this is the genius generation.
Well, it's not, but that could be multifactorial because of social media, and also like, you know, COVID just completely destroyed education. That's going to just take a while to recover from any, like now you're starting to have kids that are going to be able to go to school, hopefully from kindergarten through high school, and not have a 2 freaking year interruption because of a pandemic. So, you know, we're still in the middle of like those kids. Like I'm telling you, like I was just saying this recently, like my kids lost 2 whole years of their childhood. It was like Lillian had just turned 7 years old, and then it's like all of a sudden she was like almost 10, and that's when the world like kind of started again. Like it's just crazy.
I know. I remember because the COVID shutdown happened, 3 days before her birthday?
Yeah.
And I remember FaceTiming her, like crying when I hung up because I couldn't even see her in person.
That one day, that 1 week that we were like, oh, we're actually listening to the news and like believing them. And then we were like, yeah, this is the dumbest shit ever.
And I want to thank the Philadelphia health inspector for coming to my bar job the Friday before shutdown, because you can't have the kitchen open when a health inspection is in place. So I made $40 that day because we didn't have a kitchen open, and I didn't know that I'd be out of work for the next 3 to 4 months. So thank you for that. Absolutely ridiculous.
Well, isn't that more the restaurant's problem that the health inspector showed up?
No, they come all the time. It wasn't like a violation.
They just randomly show up at restaurants?
They have to randomly show up. Because otherwise you can just make it seem like you're clean all the time.
Okay.
All right. Last, in Argentina, a flight instructor jumped out of a plane to his death, forcing the student pilot on board to land the plane by herself.
Yeah, that's like a really crazy situation. I guess he just opened the door and was kind of like, you know what you have to do, carry on. And this is like such an insane story. Like imagine if you were just the same way in driving school, just learning how to drive, and then the instructor was just like, yeah, you're on the highway right now and I'm jumping out of the car, you'll be fine, like handle it.
Well, that's interesting you brought that up, because they're saying in this article that in the investigation they're trying to understand how he did it with such ease, apparently, because it's equivalent on this plane. It was a Cessna 150G aircraft. They said on this plane it's equivalent to jumping out of a car door while the car is driving approximately 125 miles an hour. So in this case, he said, you know what you have to do, carry on, unbuckled his seat, removed his headset, opened the plane door, and just jumped out. And then this 22-year-old is just supposed to calmly land this plane while she just saw a man commit suicide.
Well, she did.
She did, but like...
It's the ultimate, like... I remember when I was at the hospital and I started learning how to do frozen sections, which is like when they send specimens down while a person's open and in the operating room and under anesthesia, they're waiting for our answer. So it's something that we have to do very fast yet very accurately. And when I was learning how to do it, one of the residents used to like throw stuff at me when I was doing it. And she'd be like, you're in war now. Like you need to be able to perform under these situations. And like, she would just like create all this chaos and hassle and make noise like while I was doing it. Cause she's like, it's never going to be like a calm control situation. Like, and it's just funny because if that woman was able to land the plane under that, like she's going to be an awesome pilot. If she could do that, she could do anything, kind of thing.
Totally. So I guess behind the scenes he had been dealing with some severe mental health issues, and they said he had recently checked himself into a clinic, but nobody knew that except his family. That reminded me that I don't remember what it was. I was listening to some interview with a pilot over one of these plane stories we were covering last year, and they were saying in the interview that pilots often will not report if they are having mental issues, because if they do, it means that they are flagged and they're not allowed to fly anymore. So if they are having mental health issues, they won't
I feel
point
like we
it
talked
out.
about that for something.
Yeah,
well, there was that guy that actually tried to like pull the whole plane down.
You know what?
Remember?
I think it was that when we were covering that story. I had listened to an interview with another pilot who was just saying that it's like actually a huge problem in their field, because if they report any signs of mental health issues, they're immediately
I mean,
pulled
I
off,
understand that, yeah.
which they should be, but like they don't want to.
No,
be,
I understand that.
I don't know. This is just crazy that this girl had to go through this, but at least she can handle high stress situations. All right, on to your questions and emails. If you have stories or questions for us, please submit them to stories@motherknowsdeath.com. First is from Melissa. Related to a baby found in the porta potty, my grandmother was a mortician and
this is like the third comment we've had on this case.
Well, there's another submission after this that I think the cases are maybe
I
connected.
know. I was reading them and I was like, wait, this is actually happening right now.
That's why I wanted to read both of these back to back. So if either of these listeners know if these cases are connected, I want to know, because these emails came in minutes apart from each other from two completely different people. So I just want to know if
I
if
do
they're
too.
Connected. All right. So Melissa says, my grandmother was a mortician and ran a funeral home in a very small town. She lived in a suite attached to the funeral home. My grandma was legit crazy. She used to let me play in the coffin showroom and would shut me in the coffins because she thought it was funny. But that's a whole other story.
What a cool granny. That's how I'm going to be with Waylon.
We were visiting for Thanksgiving one year when I was around 9 or 10 years old. We were in the middle of Thanksgiving dinner when a police officer walked in the door unannounced. He started telling my grandmother about a dead baby that was found in the bottom of an outhouse at a campground nearby. Everyone angrily left the dinner table except me and my grandmother. She calmly remained eating while the officer talked about the level of decay on this poor baby. I remember being too shocked to leave, but also very curious. I had so many questions, and that was when my interest in true crime formed. Now as an adult, I'm still very interested in true crime, but even though I'm childless by choice, I really struggle hearing about crimes with children. After hearing this story at the festival, it really brought me back to how I felt about that baby in the bottom of the outhouse. It's absolutely crazy to me to think that something like this could happen more than once. So, right after that, I get an email from Charlene who says, I was listening to the story and it reminded me of a similar case that happened back in 1997 where remains of a newborn were found at an outdoor campground toilet in Michigan. The case went cold and the community named the baby Baby Garnet. Fast forward 25 years later, a young girl did a DNA test on Ancestry.com and ultimately found that the mother of the baby, which was her biological grandmother, and it led to her biological grandmother being charged with murder and involuntary manslaughter.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
If that's the actual same case.
Yes.
So now we need to know, because we don't know if the other one was from Michigan in that year.
Yeah. I was like, there's no way that these aren't connected, because like the first listener is literally like, I can't believe this happens all the time. And then I get this email minutes later and I'm like, this has to be the same case. So you guys tell us if it is the same case, because I am curious. How weird. And how crazy that this person did a DNA test, found that their grandma was like this child's mother that was abandoned.
So I just want to know, like, they did the Ancestry case, but like, how did they connect it to the missing baby?
I don't know.
Like, I'm curious. I mean, I believe that that's how it got started, but
yeah, send us some more info.
It would just pop up and say like, oh, this is your grandma, like, right? Like, how would it get connected to that? Unless investigators connected it.
Maybe.
That has to be what happened, right?
But let us know if the cases are connected and give us some more details on how they found this lady. Yeah. All right, this is an update from Mariah, who wrote in a while back. I wrote in a few months ago about my friend who was selling candles on Facebook Marketplace, and the girl with the sketch profile that did not even have a photo knew that she was pregnant and wanted to hang out with her. Update, my friend did up deactivating her account for a little bit, and this past Friday night I woke up and checked my phone just after midnight knowing she was having contractions, and she texted me at the same time to say she was laboring to Mother Knows Death. She's as hooked as I am, and Cletus the fetus is now little Nora the newborn. You know that kid is going to be cool after she was listening to on her way into this world. Also, shout out to my friend for advocating for herself when doctors were being overzealous and wanted to induce her at 37 weeks, claiming she had IUGR, but our healthy girl was born right at 39 and was 21.5 inches and 7 pounds 3 ounces. Congrats to you both as well. Waylon is such a sweet babe and looks like he has Aunt Lady Bird's hairline.
Oh boy. Or lack thereof. She just has eyebrows that connect to her hairline.
Libra did have such a forehead, and it was so cute. And then he has shoulder hair, which is my favorite thing ever, but it's like starting to go away, which makes me really sad.
Well, when Maria was in labor, we were listening to
some Michael Jackson
yeah, molestation charges. So that was
some light fare.
Yeah. So thanks for listening to us during your laboring.
I mean, I think at the time we were like, I don't even remember what we said. I think we were like, you have to move, which is so ridiculous if that Facebook Marketplace person was showing up at your house. But especially after seeing Maternal Instinct, how could you just feel comfortable about somebody trying to hang out with you knowing you're pregnant?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just so scary to think about.
It is. It really is.
But we love updates, so if you guys have updates for us, please send them into the email. We want to know what happened. If we gave you bad advice, we don't want to know what happened. We try our best here. Okay, thank you guys. Please head over to Apple or Spotify. Leave us a 5-star review. Let me start this over again. I'm just gonna cut it at the end. Please head over to Apple or Spotify and leave us a 5-star review. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you have stories or comments for us, please submit them to stories@motherknowsdeath.com.
See ya. Thank you for listening to Mother Knows Death. As a reminder, my training is as a pathologist assistant. I have a master's level education and specialize in anatomy and pathology education. I am not a doctor, and I have not diagnosed or treated anyone, dead or alive, without the assistance of a licensed medical doctor. This show, my website, and social media accounts are designed to educate and inform people based on my experience working in pathology so they can make healthier decisions regarding their life and well-being. Always remember that science is changing every day, and the opinions expressed in this episode are based on my knowledge of those subjects at the time of publication. If you are having a medical problem, have a medical question, or are having a medical emergency, please contact your physician or visit an urgent care center, emergency room, or hospital. Please rate, review, and subscribe to Mother Knows Death on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or anywhere you get podcasts. Thanks.